Hi Zimbabwe, I'm Lauren Javanu and I'm also known as Trailer. I'm one of the amazing youths in Zimbabwe. Well, the impetus that has drove me to make this video today is because there is an issue that is hitting me at the heart and troubling me as a youth. I am inculcating myself this other day when I got into the CBD of Harare with my dad. The environment in the CBD was not conducive enough for me to pass a positive compliment. The environment was so miserable. The scenery was so ghastly to the extent that it almost made me cry. And I found myself autonomously asking my dad a rhetorical question. And I was like, Dad, why is our country not developing at all? He then looked at me right in the eyes and he was like, corruption, son. Corruption is what is dragging us down. You know what? Though that's what everybody else knows and believes, but to me that point is not solid enough. So I had to ask him again. And I was like, Dad, are you telling me that there is no corruption in other developed countries? It seems like now I was asking too much because he paused a little bit, scratched the back part of his head, and after a moment he was like, you know what, son? The corruption in Zimbabwe is more vigorous as compared to other countries. In as much as I wanted to expostulate that fact, I couldn't expostulate. Because according to our culture, whenever a father says something you disagree with, you do not have to disagree. Otherwise, it will be considered as cultural disrespect. So I just had to respect that, till God directed me to make this video today. You know what, my fellow Zimbabweans? Though we put corruption at the forefront for the economic recession situation in Zimbabwe, I think it is pretty advisable if we put into cognizance of other factors too, like our mentality. I do believe that if we ever want to test the test of success as a nation, there must be a paradigm shift when it comes to our way of thinking. I'm saying so because I've used an encephalography to diagnose a diagnosis, and it indicated a brain encephalopathy amongst my countrymen, due to the fact that we have a mentality of waiting for someone to come and solve our problems whilst we are seated. And this is the impetus why each and every single time we encounter a problem, we start nagging about it. Because we're more of problem complainers, not problem solvers. And this is substantiated with how we're currently complaining about corruption. If I were to ask some of you if you're doing anything about it, the only people who will be able to answer me better are the people from ICU. But the rest, you give me sorrowful facial expressions because you ain't doing anything beyond complaining. And the worst thing, which is the miserable thing, is that when God blesses us with people who can deal as well as fixing some of our problems, we get jealous of such people by criticizing them and misjudging them. What I'm saying is not from the blue and is true. For the sake of corroborating that, let me give you an example of one of the most influential individuals in Zimbabwe, which is Prophet W. Magaya. He recently opened a factory. And when I say factory, I mean a marble factory. And if you think that I'm lying to you, you can even ask our Vice President, Kempo Mohadi. He came and he witnessed the power of God with his own eyes. And as I am talking right now, there are 99.9% of Zimbabwean black race that are working at that factory. And I've mentioned the factory only to mention less, but there is more. There are plantations, there are projects that Prophet W. Magaya initiated, and he employed multitudes of Zimbabweans. And according to the Logistics Statistics Comics, Prophet W. Magaya has devoured and swallowed 10% of Zimbabwe unemployment rate. And I'm pretty sure that you can also see that that's a positive change to our mother country, right? But in return, we get jealous of such people by criticizing them and misjudging them. And wonder why 99.5% of influential, sophisticated Zimbabwean citizens always flee to other countries. They'll be running away from this excruciating sickness of ours. Because what we seem to be good at is complaining, jealousy, criticizing, and misjudging others. So in conclusion, my beloved Zimbabweans, if we ever want to test the test of success, there must be a paradigm shift when it comes to our way of thinking. 1. When we encounter a problem, let us not complain about it, waiting for someone to come and solve it for us. We have to solve it ourselves. Secondly, when God blesses us with people who can deal as well as fixing some of our problems, let us not be jealous of such people, but rather let us take advantage of such people. And finally, I as a patriotic youth, I do believe in the potential my mother country has. And I'm confident enough that as soon as we change our way of thinking and allow God to guide us through our lost quest, surely and definitely will test the test of success. May God bless you.